But yeah, I used to be on, back when KSI was like a massive clan in Halo Reach, I was on the MLG team for our division, KSI Butane. We were the blue team of whatever the fire-themed division of KSI United was. Because it kept having like divisions lower and lower. There ended up being a lot of politics when it came to the clan. How things should be run, people leaving, people getting kicked out. It was... Oh, all aboard. It was a lot. There was a big... Like, there was a point just before the release... Oh, no, it was still during... It was still during the highlight of, like, Halo Reach. It was before Halo 4 had released. There was a point when KSI kind of fell off the map a little bit and, like, seemingly disappeared as a clan. They ended up making a comeback, like, later on. But there was, like, a big fallout due to all the politics that were going on. The owners kept, like, dismantling, like, divisions and such, and things just kind of kept falling apart. But my squad, Butane, which I was the general of at one point, because I straight up no-lifed my entire existence into that clan. Even though I did lie about my age when I joined, because you had to be I think over 14 to join, and I think I was 14. You had to be 15 or over to join. So I did lie about my age when I joined. But so I got buddy with like everyone on every higher rank. To the point where like I was just scaling the ranks, even though like literally all I was doing was just like being friendly to everybody and like showing up to meetings and organizing stuff. And it honestly helped me like develop some like social skills that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I had the code of conduct memorized like by heart. But in doing so, I became very privy to all the politics that were going on. And I kind of became a bit of a consultant in a lot of stuff because I actually had decent advice, even though I was very young. And again, in doing so, I just kept rising the ranks because people liked me and people would get my advice on things and would listen. So then as the higher ranks kind of started falling apart, we in Butane were very much the sole bastion of a lot of, I think it was called Firestorm, to the point where when other squads would disband, a lot of them started being funneled into Butane, because like it was Butane and I think Phoenix was the other one. It was the red squad, and it just became very much like a red and blue situation. So essentially Butane ended up being like the last strand the last block in the Jenga tower that was holding just about all of KSI together, because there was KSI United and Global, which were the two main divisions, and then it kept breaking down from there. Global was already kind of fucked at the time, and United was like really the only one that was standing tall, but even that was on very shaky supports. And again, I knew this because I was friends with all of the higher ups who would be in the meetings for like the people going way high up the chain. And so I was like, they would get out of the meeting and we'd be like, hey, what's going on? And we would know things that we probably shouldn't have known. Even though, again, this is all just like, it's all just a video game clan, but everyone was taking it really seriously at the time. Clans used to be a massive thing back in the day, so. People took this shit seriously. Our general, KSI Demon, would like get back from the meetings and such, and would like just kind of vent to us about everything that was going on. And so, learning everything that was going on, we realized how shaky a lot of it was. And then eventually Demon, who was a really good general, just kind of left. And he was like, I'm done. I can't, like, there's so much politics going on. This place is falling apart. I'm gonna go make my own clan. And so they went off and did their own thing, and that really shook things up in Butane. But also we were in a spot that was like we were kind of the linchpin of the rest of Firestorm, which was the strongest squad in KSI United. Or I'm using, it wasn't squad, it was division or whatever it was. I can't remember how things were broken down now, even though I used to have it memorized by heart. Or I can't remember the titles. I remember like how things were broken down. But anyways, so things were really shaken up. A lot of people started leaving, which meant a lot of people started getting promoted really quickly. And I rose the ranks very fast at that point. And I eventually ended up sitting in the general spot over like 300 people. And it was like, and I was probably way too young to be in that kind of position. But that was just how things had fallen. And a lot of people looked up to me. A lot of people respected me there because I kind of ran things how Demon was running it, because that's kind of the only way I knew how. And the other, like, the head of our MLG team had left. KSI Level and Frosty were kind of my mentors. Frosty was also like another of the trainers, and it was just me with a bunch of like very new people who didn't really know what they were doing. And I was also just kind of getting sick and tired of the politics and stuff that was going on, and how poorly things were being run. And I got as many people as I could into a meeting, and I basically just had this moment of like kind of doing what you're not supposed to do and telling everyone below me what was going on. But I didn't care at that point. And it was like a massive thing. Like, I mean, you see the content creator KSI. He was from that clan. Not my area. I think he was KSI Global. He was on the other side. But yeah, he was KSI Legite BT, I think is how you pronounce it. Now he just goes by KSI because it doesn't really exist anymore. And he became much more famous than anything the clan actually had going on. And so, yeah, I got as many people as I could into a meeting and just kind of broke down everything. And I was like, hey, this is what's going on. This is how people view us, as like we are the last bastion of this thing, and it's all kind of falling apart, and it's going to be going away soon. Like, genuinely, this whole thing is falling apart. So I'm going to go, and anyone else who's also just kind of sick and tired of being jerked around like this can come with me, and we're just gonna kind of walk out. That caused Butane to collapse entirely, which then caused Firestorm to collapse, which then caused KSI United to collapse. So, in a way, I am kind of directly responsible for the clan KSI falling apart. Just a little bit of lore there. Yeah. That's my claim to fame. And now all that's left is the content creator KSI. Though I think they did end up having, like, they tried to have some sort of a resurgence, because I do remember, like, there were some people that had, like, we ran into some people with KSI tags, And we were like, oh my god, KSI is still around? And they're like, yeah, it's coming back. And then I was like, hey, do you remember when it just kind of like fell apart for a bit? And they were like, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, that was me. It's just a weird little connection I have now. That at like, I was like 15 or 16. It's like at 15 or 16, I basically caused the collapse of what was at the time the biggest clan in Halo. Granted, I didn't cause it. Like, it was all there. It was going to happen anyways. I just pushed the last Jenga block out of the tower and watched it all crumble. Boss coffee. At the moment, the plan to add more. Be very wary with clans. I've lived a lifetime in the span of a couple years when it came to clans, and I've never seen one not have a lot of politics happen, and a lot of people who want more power than they probably deserve or know how to be responsible with. Just keep an eye open. Since my time in KSI, I've kind of become a slight bit of a clan consultant when it comes to people near me either joining or creating clans. We had a Warframe clan that was I think it was one of the bigger Warframe clans. Wow, this is bringing back memories that I forgot I had. It's how I met Shaden. But a lot of our friends were part of like the high-ranking members of, I think it was Shadow Guard, and like they were on like some of the top leaderboards of the Warframe community, and I was kind of a consultant for them because of my time at KSI. If anyone remembers, I don't think anyone who watches me now was around back then. But if you go back to my early videos on my YouTube channel, I had like multiplayer nights where I would play with Shaden, my friend Vinny, well, now ex-friend, but that's a whole story. John, and a few different people. We basically all became friends through Shadow Guard. But yeah, because of my time at KSI, I was kind of a consultant for Shadow Guard with a lot of their bigger stuff. And that was around like 2016, 2017, maybe a little earlier. No, it had to have been earlier because I knew Shaden before that. And I literally met Shaden because he was one of the main people of Shadow Guard. So I think they were the biggest Xbox clan at one point. So yeah, I've had a weird history of like being in like pretty big clans, just kind of being in the background of things, but then also being like in whenever major things happened. It's like Forrest Gump, how he was always like at like every major American event, but like was just like in the pictures because he just happened to be that close. Or just accidentally happened to be the reason why like certain things happened. It's me with video game clans. But yeah, then I think a lot of them ended up leaving Shadow Guard because like there was something that happened where people would like there was like some harassment stuff. Like it got nasty, and we had some people like they quit the clan, and then when they did it, they like destroyed part of the dojo, which in Warframe the dojos are like clan headquarters that you can set up. Yeah, things got nasty, and then so some people left because of that. And then some of our other friends were just like, yeah, we've been doing this a while. We're just kind of tired and bored of it all. There's so much politics. It always comes down to politics. Like, Like, it's always such an annoying part of the whole clan life that it just drives so many people away. And that was something I was warning them of the entire time, of like, yeah, this stuff happens and you gotta be ready for it, because... And they're like, but no, we're all like good friends. And then turns out, no, people will act like your friend to get closer to you, to get more power. It is like literally like politicians, but in a video game. It is wild the lengths that people will go to whenever like being in command over someone else is involved. Yeah, it gets absolutely ridiculous. Just be prepared for everything that comes with that, because I have not seen a single clan, even when they're just starting out with friends playing together, because then you start recruiting randoms, you start building your numbers, and some of those people start looking at the ranks and being like, oh, well, if I was in that rank, I would be I would be over this many people and I could tell them what to do. And that gets to people's heads. And suddenly you've got people going like either being fake to you to get closer to you, or you have people talking behind your back and spreading rumors. Now, if you keep it absolutely casual and don't like really expand too much, and just like genuinely just have a group of friends that likes to play, and just giving it a name and like a whatever in-game designation there is, that's fine, that's different. But if you're planning on like actually having a clan, like a full-on clan, politics and clans go hand in hand. It is ridiculous. Granted, I have also... My experience with clans was also only with, like, major clans. Somehow. So, like... I'm also not... I might also be slightly skewed. Just be on the lookout for some red flags there. I learned very early on, long before a lot of people normally do, that having power over other people is absolutely corruptive. Because I learned it firsthand watching it happen to people who I thought were cool, and they turned out, because as soon as they get a taste for that power, suddenly they turn into something very different. And honestly, it was a good learning experience for me to have been at ground zero for a lot of that, but I hesitate to recommend. But a lot of times people still won't, and to get at you, they will go around you and talk to other people and start building things up, start causing drama, lots of drama. And I think, honestly, me being part of that clan as early as I was, and for as long as I was, is what gave me the absolute aversion to, like, people being fake, like, so quickly. Like, long before high school. Well, not too long before high school. It was basically right there. Actually, what... Was I still in KSI during high school? I'm not sure. See, I remember those as very vivid, distinct parts of my life. I don't remember if they overlapped. And yeah, I developed my aversion to it really early on, just from my experience with my Halo Reach clan. Though I am still the KSI United official bumper cars champion. Me and my team. But I was the driver, so I was the one who did most of the work. The way bumper cars works is it's 3 people to a Warthog, because that's how many people you can fit in a Warthog. One person drives, one person is leaning out the side throwing grenades, and one person is on the back on the turret, kind of helping when enemies flip over. The turrets didn't really do a whole ton, but they were fun. But I was the driver, and we ended up winning a big tournament, and I never got my gift cards that I was supposed to have won from that, which makes me sad. But anyways, I still have the claim to fame.